Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing great here. Yeah, so we are covering web request. It's an module, and the subtopic here in this module is hypertext transfer protocol. So, hypertext transfer protocol, it's an abbreviation of HTTP, and the majority of applications we use constantly to interact with the internet, both web and mobile applications. These are web and mobile applications. We use them to interact with the internet. Internet is basically bunch of networks connected together. So most internet communications are made with web requests. So basically we send a request to a web server and they give us a response back. So we send a HTTP request and that comes back. It's an application level protocol. So protocol is basically a set of rules defined for a system to perform something, and it is used. This protocol is used to access worldwide resources, World Wide Web resources (WWW). The term hypertext stands for text containing links to other resources. Hypertext is basically text containing links, and it's a special kind of text and known as hypertext. So we usually access websites on the internet via URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Resources over HTTP are accessed via URL, which offers many more specifications than simply specifying a website we want to visit. So every website has a unique URL, has a unique uniform resource locator. It's just like your house address, like it's a unique one, and in your house, a particular room is a unique one, and your particular PC is a unique one, your particular washroom is a unique one. So take URL as this example. So in your house, there's a room, there's a washroom, there's a bedroom, and there are many other specific categories divided in a house. And house is basically your address. So yeah, there are various components of a URL. One is a scheme. The URL start with HTTP, HTTP, or HTTPS. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, while in HTTPS the S stands for secure. There are usually colon and double slash after HTTP and HTTPS. Then uh, in after specifying the protocol used for communication, we usually have it's kind of optional, but in login pages there are like admin and the user credentials after that, but it's optional if either it's a login page, it's a form, or it's an account of a particular user. And after that there comes host. So basically host is what is your house in a particular city. So yeah, so where do you want to go, what do you want to access, the host tells that. And the port 80 is basically the port specified for HTTP. Like if every house has an house address, so let's say you have a house number 4 in a particular street or in a particular colony, then you should have a house address. So the house address of HTTP protocol is port 80, while for HTTPS is port 443. So these are addresses of these protocols. If you want to talk with HTTP, then you have to go through port 80, and if secure version, then 443. Then after the specified port, there comes a path. Like if you are in a house and if you are in a particular room, then which specific area do you want to go in that? It's basically a file or folder in a it just tells what do you want to access, like what do you want to, where do you want to go on a particular room. Either you want to work on your PC, either you want to go to washroom, either you want to go for sleep on your bed. So yeah, so it's like the resource you want to access on that particular website. And yeah, that path basically defines. Then we have query string. So it just tells the parameter you want to access. It's a further subcategory. uh, Multiple parameters can be used, and these are parameters are usually variables, and these are assigned on the back end. The fragments are basically certain sections in a particular page that you are currently accessing. Not all components are required to access a resource, and many of these are just optional. You just have to specify a protocol. The port default is 80 and 443. If you just type http and colon and double slash and then this host, then it would just work. So we have a diagram here demonstrating how do the requests work. So basically user when I go to inlandfreight.com and he basically sends a request. It's a get request. So it sends to DNS server where on the earth is this house address. The DNS server replies that this is the house address of the user, and then it's a request sent to the web server of that particular, like he says I want to visit your house, and he says get request, can I visit your house? And the web server says yeah, you can visit my house, and it says okay, I don't have a problem. So that's basically how the request works. The first time the user enters a URL into the browser, it sends a request to a DNS. DNS is basically a domain name system. It tells the web server, it tells the address of what do you want to visit. Like every website on the internet has a unique address. Like every house has a unique address, then every website on the internet has a unique address. So it's like a record, a public record where it just matches up the house address and the name of a particular person or the colony, and then just tells us where on the earth is their address. I hope that makes sense. The DNS server looks up to the IP for and returns it. It's I don't know if you can relate, but there was an old times when you have to just go through phone book to um, get the phone number of a particular user. So you can think of DNS server as that particular phone book who just search for names and just comes up for with the phone address of that particular user. Our browsers usually first look up records in the local host file. So host is basically on the Linux servers. Uh, the files are different on Windows servers. So if the requested domain does not exist, then they would contact other DNS servers. We can use the host to manually add records for DNS resolution by providing the IP followed by the domain name. I think that's clear. Once the browser gets the IP address linked to the requested domain, it sends a GET request to the default HTTP port. It's 80, we have already specified, asking for the root path. Uh, if ain't specified, like you wanna go just for with the house example I told you earlier, if ain't specified where do you wanna go, then it just starts with the default path. Like if you enter into a house, then there might be a room on the start, there might be a porch, there might be car area. So the starting point is usually root on the web server, so it just first goes on to the root path. Then the web server receives the request and processing it. It basically says that can I visit your house and configure to return an index file. If the permission is allotted, then you can visit root, or even if you want to say that I want to go to this room, I want to go to this particular area, then yeah. In this case, the contents of index.html are read and returned by the web server as an HTTP response. The response also contains the status code. So basically, on the request, we say, can we enter your house? And the house owner basically replies with, yeah, you can with it. 200 means, yeah, okay, I don't have a problem. You can come on, which indicates that the request was successfully processed. Like, I don't have a problem. The house owner says, okay, I don't have a problem. You can visit. Web server then renders index.html contents and presents it to the user. And the user ultimately accesses the website of that particular person, or what was his or her destination he reached at the end. So cURL, in this module we will be sending web requests to two of the most important tools for web penetration tester, a web browser like Chrome or Firefox, and the cURL command line tool. You probably should have used Chrome or Firefox. It's a GUI based uh, browsers. These are browsers through which you send requests in a graphical way, and the it sends get request on the back end, and you ultimately just receive a response. And while you can do the same with the CLI as well, it's using cURL is a command line tool and library that primarily supports HTTP along with many other protocols. This make it a good candidate for scripts as well as automation, making it essential for sending various types of requests from the command line, which is necessary for many types of web penetration tests. I hope that makes sense. We can send a basic HTTP request to any URL by using it as an assignment for a cURL as follows. So that's the default structure, and then call this website, and you just say call like print that website, so it just gives you the entire HTML. Does not render the HTML code, unlike a web browser. It did not render because the web browser basically process the HTML and shows the output, but on a CLI definitely you can't experience the features of a GUI. So we are mainly interested in the request and response, which usually becomes much faster and more convenient in the web browser. So it's basically showing different types of flags you can use. You can /s for to save the input, and so -s, I just read that we can silent the status with the -s flag, uh, and you can just -h to basically see what different kind of operations you can perform on that. So yeah, that's basically fundamental part in the web request. I hope I covered most of it, and I hope that makes sense.